Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Elizabeth Doroba. The Luzerne County Board of Elections has announced that 8 polling locations in the county have been changed for the upcoming election. The changed polling places are as follows. In the city of Pittston, Wards 2 and 3 have been moved from the Pittston Memorial Library to St. Joseph Morello Church at 237 William Street. In the city of Wilkes-Barre, Wards 10 and 11 have been moved from Marymount Charter School to St. Nicholas Church at 226 South Washington Street. Wards 15 and 16 in Wilkes-Barre City have been moved from Kistler Elementary School to St. Aloysius Padden Hall at 143 Division Street. And lastly, in Wright Township, the polling places for District 1 and 2 have been moved to the Wright Township Municipal Building at 321 South Mountain Boulevard. Police are investigating a series of retail thefts in Wilkes-Barre Township and Dixon City. According to Dixon City Police, the 4 individuals shown on screen are wanted for their alleged involvement in the thefts. Anyone who is able to identify the suspects is asked to contact Patrolman Gallagher at 570-382-8018. The City of Hazleton will be hosting a paper shredding event on Thursday, October 24th. The event will run from 1 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. at City View Park. During the event, Hazleton residents will have the opportunity to shred documents containing personal information such as Social Security numbers, credit card information, and bank account numbers. All participants must show proof of residency and are limited to 3 boxes per resident. No magazines, newspapers, binders, plastics, CDs, or cardboard will be accepted. City View Park is located at 700 South Poplar Street in Hazleton. Coming up on WYLN News, a prescription drug take-back event is scheduled to take place at the Luzerne County Courthouse. Plus, PennDOT announces upcoming lane restrictions on Route 309 in Kingston Township. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast, brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
WYLN News is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network. Do you remember cranking down the car windows so you can pump up the jam? If you do, schedule your mammogram online today. Visit lvhn.org/mammo.
My name is Owen. The marvelous Sunny.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
Contact Pete Kasalika for a home and auto quote today.
FNL Doors, your trusted overhead door supplier for over 50 years, providing quality products and services to Eastern PA and beyond with 2 strategic locations. They carry garage doors from leading manufacturers in the industry like Rainer. They guarantee parts and service for your home or business, from new construction to replacement doors, inspections, and service calls. FNL Doors stands behind every job, taking pride in the work they do. Call 800-344-DOOR or visit FNL Doors online at fldoors.com or visit their showrooms in Hazel Township or Schuylkill Haven. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on Wyln TV 35. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. Wyln and Lehigh Valley Health Network will be showcasing an inside look at local farmers all summer long and into the fall, fresh from the farm. See what great fresh food you can pick up every Wednesday on Wyln TV 35. Fresh from the Farm is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network Express Care. Now open on the Airport Beltway in Hazel Township. Walk-in care, 365 days a year.
Welcome back to WYLN News. District Attorney Sam Sanguadolce has announced an upcoming prescription drug take-back event in Luzerne County. The event will take place on Saturday, October 26th from 10 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. at the Luzerne County Courthouse. The drive-through event will give residents the opportunity to dispose of unused or expired prescription medications and to obtain Narcan, an essential tool in preventing overdose deaths from opioids. Sanguadolce also hopes the event will help raise awareness for substance use disorders. The event will be held in the rear parking lot of the courthouse. PennDOT has announced upcoming lane restrictions on Route 309 in Kingston Township. According to officials, the lane restrictions will span from Hillside Road to the Route 1050 bridge. The lane restrictions will be in effect on Friday, October 25th and Monday, October 28th from 9 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. While the lane restrictions are in place, crews will be working on a bridge replacement project on Route 1050. Crews will also continue working on traffic signal projects in the area. The projects are weather dependent. Delays are expected, and motorists are encouraged to consider alternate routes. For up-to-date conditions on major roadways, you can visit 511pa.com. A woman is wanted by the Carbon County Sheriff's Office. Brooke Hayes has been charged with use/possession of drug paraphernalia, simple possession, and retail theft. She is known to have ties to the Summit Hill area. Anyone with information regarding her whereabouts is asked to contact the Carbon County Sheriff's Office at 570-325-2821. Coming up on Freeland's News Choice, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Pittston, Part 4. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
You will love the feel-good feeling you get when you shop at Grand Central in Nescopeck and Hazleton. You will enjoy a no-pressure professional sales staff, experienced delivery crew, service after the sale,
and don't forget, everyday low prices.
No matter what you're shopping for in your home, we have you covered with top brand names like Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, England, and Dillon Custom Rugs.
With our enormous selection and the flexibility to finance interest-free for up to 60 months, Grand Central makes it easy to make your house a home.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story. Call us today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process with professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call right now for your free writer's guide.
1-800-215-3680.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
Sometimes the basis for critical Supreme Court cases can come from unlikely sources. On the morning of July 27, 1934, Harry Tompkins was walking home alongside the Erie Railroad's tracks just outside Pittston. It was then that a train came down the tracks, and the train crew on board had failed to notice that one of the car's doors was wide open. The door knocked Tompkins down onto the tracks, where the train ran over his right arm, crushing it badly enough that it eventually needed to be amputated. Tompkins sued the Erie Railroad for negligence, and since the company was headquartered in New York rather than Pennsylvania, the case was heard in federal court. The court agreed with Tompkins' claims and awarded him $30,000 in damages. The Erie Railroad appealed the decision, and when an appeals court reached the same decision, they appealed again to the U.S. Supreme Court. In a 7-2 decision rendered on April 25, 1938, the federal justices, in a decision written by Justice Louis Brandeis, overturned the lower court decision, declaring that state law rather than federal common law would have to be used when dealing with cases that span several states. Many legal scholars consider Erie Railroad Company v. Tompkins to be one of the most consequential decisions in Supreme Court history, given it established the modern precedent of diversity jurisdiction. In the wake of the court's decision, Tompkins' case was referred down to the appeals courts, who, with the federal justice's decision in mind, officially reversed their earlier ruling in the case. Tompkins thus had the misfortune of ultimately walking away with nothing in the end. By the 1920s, coal production in Pittston entered a slump. It was at this time, though, that the garment industry started taking root in town. Fueled by former New York shops looking to get out that city's strict unionization, they soon made Pittston a national leader for clothing manufacturing. This success, however, came with a price, as the workers were underpaid and overworked too often. And many of the shops were mob-controlled, with the leading figure pulling the strings being notorious crime lord Russell Buffalino. It was into this toxic environment that Min Matheson arrived in 1944. She and her husband Bill had been sent by the International Ladies Garment Workers Union to unionize the Wyoming Valley, and quickly realized that the mob would hold their efforts back. Matheson, however, did not back down from the challenge. The mob had murdered her brother in New York for trying to organize their shops there, and she was ready to take them on. She began by challenging Buffalino's attempts to suppress the votes of his female workers, which had them sign the register but let their husbands vote for them. Matheson's selected volunteer, Carmela Salatino, refused to do so to Buffalino's overseer unless she could vote herself. When this gambit failed, Matheson and the ILGWU successfully overcame the mob's voter suppression in the area. Later efforts, such as 1958's dress strike, effectively established firm union control over the shops and broke the mob's power. When Matheson left the Wyoming Valley in 1963, there were 168 unionized clothing factories in the area with over 11,000 union members, up from 6 businesses and 650 members when she'd arrived 19 years earlier. Matheson later became a founding member of the National Organization for Women. She and Bill would return to the Wyoming Valley in 1972, where she'd be instrumental in getting flood relief to the area after Hurricane Agnes. She died in 1992. By the 1940s, coal mining in Pittston had declined from its peak, but was still a firm employer in the town. The dangers of the work still existed too, though. On the early morning of November 27, 1942, they became apparent to the whole town. An old mine in the town's Eagle Shaft that had not been used since 1868 abruptly caved in underneath Pittston, cracking the earth for half a square mile. The largest of numerous cracks was 150 feet long and too deep for bystanders to see the bottom. Over 200 homes were damaged, and many were without gas or water until the damage was repaired. It was during this glum time for the borough that Pittston residents saw another of their native sons set the sports world on fire, this time on the football field. Charlie Trippi had begun as a star for the then Pittston High Panthers. He committed to the University of Georgia in 1942. Although his time on campus was interrupted by World War II service, he helped lead Georgia to wins in the Rose and Sugar Bowls, and during his time there, finished second in the Heisman Trophy vote in 1946. Trippi was drafted by the then Chicago Cardinals and signed to what was then one of the most lucrative contracts in the young NFL's history. In an 8-year career with the franchise, playing halfback and quarterback, he accumulated 6,053 yards of total offense, the most of any player in NFL history up to that time, and helped lead the Cardinals to the 1947 NFL Championship, the franchise's most recent world title to date. After his retirement, Trippi coached the Cardinals' backfield through 1965. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1968. Charlie Trippi died in 2022 at age 100. Back in his hometown, Pittston Aries Football Stadium is named Charlie Trippi Stadium in his honor. 30 years after Trippi played his last game in Pittston, another football phenom took the field there. By then, Pittston Area School District had been formed from the merger of Pittston High with high schools in Avoca, Hughestown, DuPont, and Duryea in 1966, and the team had changed its name to the Patriots. Jimmy Cefalo earned All-State honors during his time at the school between 1970 and 1973, rushing for over 4,000 total yards. He would continue the success at Penn State, where he'd be named Most Valuable Player of the 1976 Gator Bowl, and then in a 6-year career with the Miami Dolphins from 1978 to 1984, in which he appeared in 2 Super Bowls and caught, with his face mask, Dan Marino's pass in 1984 that broke the NFL's record for most touchdowns in a season. After retirement, Cefalo pursued numerous media jobs, including a brief stint as host of the game show Trump Card. Drive-ins rose up across America in the 1940s and 50s. Numerous outdoor theaters would take root throughout the Wyoming Valley during this time, and the Pittston area would get 2 of its own around this time. The first, the Comerford Drive-In, opened on September 4, 1948 on Route 315 between Pittston and DuPont. Carved out of a mountainside, the Comerford had room for 1,000 cars, and its 15 ramps were tiered to allow each row an unobstructed view of the screen, which measured a then rather large 60 by 40 feet. Drive-in attendants would volunteer to wipe each car's windshields for a clean view of the movies, and would take food orders from guests who did not want to walk to the concession stand. The Comerford Drive-In closed in 1983, and a Walmart now stands on its site. The second Pittston area drive-in, the Riverview Drive-In, opened on September 3, 1954 with the Victor Mature film Demetrius and the Gladiators. It had a capacity for 600 cars. The Riverview Drive-In operated through 1972, and a decade later it had been replaced by housing. By the 1980s, both coal and clothing manufacturing declined precipitously in Pittston, and the town was searching for revitalization. One avenue came from the area's tomatoes. Ever since the 1960s, the Pittston area had crowed to the world that grew some of the best-tasting tomatoes in the world. In 1983, several residents, including P.J. Melvin, Ken Skaz, and Ann Bradbury, met to discuss ways to improve Pittston's image. During the meeting, Skaz brought up that his neighbor, Val Delia, was a major tomato aficionado, and that perhaps that could be the basis of a major event. Skaz and Delia signed off with the concept with then-Mayor Tom Walsh, who approved of it, and the first Pittston Tomato Festival began in 1984, featuring the very first tomato run. From that beginning, the Tomato Festival has become a major event in the borough every August, with food, parade, music, and a large tomato fight among events that residents have come to look forward to. On March 15, 1993, a massive fire broke out at the LeBaire building on North Main Street. Among those who answered the call to put it out were firefighters John Lombardo and Len Insalaco. They and their colleagues broke through the wall of the building next door to try and get at the blaze. What they and the others were unaware of, however, was that the fire had already weakened the Libera building's floor. As Lombardo and Insalaco made their way through the building, the floor abruptly collapsed underneath them, sending them down into the flames along with tons of debris. It would be several hours later when a backhoe had been commissioned to lift up the sidewalk outside to allow additional access to the basement that the other firefighters could safely look for them, but by then Lombardo and Insalaco were dead. The men's memories live on in Pittston with a monument at the corner of Kennedy Boulevard and Water Street. The adjacent bridge is also now known as the Firefighters Bridge.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update, posted daily between noon and 2 p.m., powered by Lehigh Valley Health Network. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Hi everybody. This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, an exciting show. Jen ruptured a disc at work. She was fired. We got her better. She got an attorney, got settlement, and has a beautiful life. So check in on a great show this week.